Gentlemen, very warm welcome from my side too. Mike Bergmann is my name, Federal Office for Information Security of Germany. It's a pleasure for me to speak here about the German EID activities and the outlook, what we can expect from the smart EID we are currently developing. What you can expect, first of all, a few words about the advantages of a EID and this in general, and the smart EID in particular. A few words about figures, about the historical data, status quo of the smart EID and the EID activities, architectural remarks, what we decided so far, what are the architectural constraints, what are the technical challenges we faced, and how we go to address them. Last but not least, the deployment of this new technology, and we have heard a lot about security, dedicated chapter about hardware security to underline the importance of this special countermeasure for having a secure and reliable smart EID. Advantages, mainly common sense, user-friendly. You have it in your pocket, you have it always with you. Quite secure, you can, depending on what is in your smartphone, what is in your pocket, it is quite a nice and handy thing. It's authentic, it's issued by a governmental agency, so you can really rely on these attributes. Security we already mentioned. I will spend a few more slides on security in the next slides. And fast and cost efficient. It's obvious. You don't need any shipment. You don't need any other infrastructure. You just can deploy it online. Yeah. So let's have a look at a few figures. We have nearly 85 million EID cards in the field. That means we have a full coverage achieved. We have about a few more million electronic resident permits. We have EU citizen ID cards. So in total, in summary, we have about 100 million EID cards in the field. Talking about EID cards, I have to mention that this smart EID, when I'm mentioning this word, it's a product name, so to speak. So it's an extension of this physical EID, and it is fitting, so to speak, as an extension on the usual EID card. Yeah. When we started at 2010 with the first EID cards in Germany. The EID cards had a contactless interface. You needed a special EID card reader. It was quite a high barrier for using it in the field. So at 2017, we introduced a new version of this contactless EID card, which was accessible by NFC, and this helped a lot to facilitate this EID functionality in the field. And surprisingly, now we are working on this smart EID. This is the next generation and extends the EID functionality we have in our pockets already to use the smartphone only for identification purposes. Okay, so talking about all these advantages, just let's have a deeper look into the smart EID as an additional product in this EID family. It enables you without any need of further additional additional attributes to identify yourself online for different services, public or private services. And the most important thing is here, it allows you to identify and it's complying to the German law. Last but not least, it is perfectly integrated into the German EID interface infrastructure. So relying parties already implemented the EID services do not have to adapt their services in any sense. It perfectly fits into this infrastructure. In the middle, you see a screenshot of a current preview of this Ausweis App 2. I have to state that we will not win a design award here for this application, but however, it works quite well. And this button brings you to your personal data without reading out the NFC data from your chip. On your physical card, it's it's accessing the data on the chip in your secure element. How does it work? I will show you in the next slides. How does it work? I already mentioned it fits quite perfect into this already existing EID infrastructure. This means we are using the same protocols, the same technology as for the EID. For instance, we are using PACE, password authenticated connection establishment, to connect to the to the EID applet, and using this, we are establishing an AEC channel to the service, and this means it's as it is shown is here in this slide. There is a secure channel through the client to the relying party, so there is no leakage of data possible between the EID applet and the relying party. This is really important to understand that the security we are relying on is relying on these protocols, is relying on this secure element, on the EID applet, and the connection in between. We heard it a lot. It's privacy and security by design, which is really important. We heard about this security requirements in the past, in the previous presentations, and I can't often enough repeat it again and again. Security is really a huge business case here, because if I'm issuing a bank card, I can do some risk assessment. I can assess, well, 10,000 euro maximum limit, so you have this risk, and I can do some insurance, or I can do some countermeasures for this 10,000 euros. But with the ID, it's a little bit difficult. You have no direct value in this. So you could sell your house, you could sell your car, you could even do other things with this ID, and this is really critical. So the risk assessment here is critical. So we have to achieve the highest level of security with our product. Privacy also means decentralized architecture is not based on a centralized service. So we have, even if it's called ID server, we have the possibility to create a lot of ID services for the different kinds of relying parties. So the service scales perfectly. If you need a new service for your tax agency, just set up a new EID service for this, or if you have a requirement, a special requirement for your health agency, just use a new ID service for this. It's perfect from the identification perspective. So we support pseudonymous identification. That means the service for tax payment gets identifier A. The service for the traffic control gets identifier B, and for the healthcare sector you get identifier C, and you can't connect them together. Only if you agree on, you can bring them together as a user, but from the service perspective, they are not connected together. This is really a quite nice feature. Selective disclosure is more or less clear. If I have to state my age only, or if I have to state that I'm over 18, so I don't want to disclose my home address, I don't want to disclose my marital status, I just want to say, yes, I'm over 18. And this is possible with our smart EID solution. Deniability is a nice feature that is missing in the DTC or in other areas of this credential handling, because we do not sign credentials, or we do not sign the attributes. We just make sure that the channel where we transfer the attributes are authentic. So we push the name, the age, all the stuff through this authentic channel, and at the end, on the relying party, they receive this credential saying, okay, I received it via this authenticated channel, but if they copy it, it's not longer authentic because it's just a copy and the authenticity is missing. So there's no sign, no stamp. It's just a plain piece of text anymore. And last but not least, the last red line, hardware security. This is really important, and I will show you a few more aspects on hardware security on the next slides. Let me firstly summarize the key parts. We have a secure element inside the smartphone. The secure element could be a secure element, as we have heard, could be another element, removable secure component, but it's inside. We have a CSP, the crypto service provider, which provides cryptographic primitives. We have an EID applet running in this security domain. We have on top the application running in the smartphone. We have a TSM SDK. I will not spend too much on the TSM because my colleague Christian will have a talk afterwards. So we can really make sure that all these components playing perfectly together to secure our identification data. Okay. The deployment works quite simple. We have the EID applet, which is coming from the ID card manufacturer, in our case, the German Bundesdruckerei. We have the personalization data, which is coming from the EID card. And we have a trusted service manager which enforces the life cycle of these processes. The life cycle is quite important. I will spend a few more words on this. First of all, provisioning. This is a huge difference between the EID and the smart EID, because the provisioning for the EID is usually done in the facilitation of a Bundesdruckerei in some governmental area. Here we have provisioning in the wild. Yeah, it's somewhere you have a smartphone out of a shelf, you have a Wi-Fi in this hotel, and now we do some provisioning of this smart EID applet. So this is really a huge difference. Luckily, you have to do it only once. Only once. It's true if the EID applet is not changed. If you have a new version of the EID applet, then you do it again. But in theoretical, so to speak, only once. Personalization is a little bit also tricky. You do it not in the facilitation of a Bundesdruckerei. You do it also here in this facility on a smartphone from a shelf with an unsecure Wi-Fi. and you have to do it only once. This is not completely true. You have to do it once in 2 years. A smart EID is valid only for 2 years. So after 2 years, you have to do it again. But to make a difference between this and the next step, the usage, you can do it as long as you want, as often as you want. You can use the smart EID for your purposes. Okay. Because this provisioning is so important for us, I created a dedicated slide for it, and I want to introduce the different steps. First, I already mentioned we have this app and the smart EID applet, which is provided by the governmental or by the Bundesdruckerei, for instance. It's a service contracted by the government. So this is the issuer of this of these components, and they provide it to the App Store, the app, and to the Trusted Service Manager, the Smart EID applet. After this step is done, the applet, the Smart EID applet, and the Smart EID solution is available to the public. The user can access the App Store, download the Smart EID app, and start the initialization. Yeah, you just start to install it. The installation is quite difficult. We have to check a lot of the security things. First of all, is there an NFC? Is the smartphone NFC enabled? Yeah. Do we have a NFC antenna? Do we have a secure element? Do we have a secure element inside? Yes, we have. Okay. In this case, the service manager, the Trusted Service Manager SDK, does forward checks, connects to the security, to the policy, downloading the corresponding conditions for this dedicated smartphone. And if all things are going well, the security domain is created in the secure element, and the TSM is downloading the applet down to the secure element and informing the user that, okay, fine, now you can proceed to the next step and personalize your smart EID. As I mentioned, you have to do it only once per secure smart EID applet. So if you have no changes in your applet, you will never ever require to change this. For the personalization, it's a little bit simpler. The very important point here is that you see, the Smart EID application is reading the data from the chip, from the ID card, via NFC using PACE. It's the same protocol as I already explained. The data is securely transferred to the EID service on the other side, and then authenticated and packaged, so to speak, in the secure provisioning channel and sent to the Smart EID. There's no direct connection between the Smart EID app and the Smart EID applet from the data perspective. So there's no data exchange between these two parts. It's doing this loop. So we always make sure that the data is authentic and the user can really rely on this. Okay, we only once in 2 years. I already mentioned usage. I put this ID card usage with NFC slide in between because I want to show you the difference between these two variations. There are nothing. You see, the only thing is the data coming now from the secure element inside the smartphone. All the other stuff is completely the same. You have the smartphone the user wants to use an EID service on the other side. So he initiates the transfer of the data from the secure element to the EID service, and that's it. The only really difference is that the usability of a citizen becomes higher because there's no longer an NFC card needed. So you have your identity data always with you. The best of all is that EIDA's interoperability stays the same. The system perfectly fits into the existing architecture of the German EID landscape. Okay, we talked a lot about these kind of constructions. Let's check out hardware security now. We have heard a lot about hardware security and about the availability of secure elements. I want to underline that hardware secure elements are not a new invention. They exist over 40 years, coming from the ID cards, from the banking cards, from some access control cards in the 80s. In the 90s, we started with these SIM activities, where the SIMs got smaller and smaller, and now up to the eSIM. You have these embedded SIMs with separated separated application domains. So here we have an eSIM since 2015, able to host multiple MNO profiles. So this is a quite nice platform. Talking about security and how available secure elements are, we have to state that we can assume that nearly in all devices we have some kind of secure elements, at least in the communication devices. And as you see on this slide, in Europe, every single eSIM is at least ARL 4+ certified based on these certification chain. You have a certification of a hardware chip. This is our foundation. You have the common criteria certification for the operating system. You have the eSIM certification for this remote SIM provisioning profile, and you have the CSP protection profile. So there's a really broad existing certification coverage thanks to all these activities we have heard here from the global platform and their partners. So let me summarize. Currently, we have different kinds of possibilities to come to really secure our smart EID. We have the embedded secure element inside the smartphone. Thanks to Samsung and other vendors, we have access to these secure elements, and we can create our security domain inside this secure element. We have a secure element in the eSIM, thanks to our partners from the telecommunication areas. Thanks to Telecom, to Vodafone, we are able to create our EID security domain in this kind of eSIM. And as an outlook, that's why this is the outlook slide, so to speak. We have here this secure application for mobile activity in the global platform area, where we can create a SAM security domain, which is perfect for third parties to host our security or secure elements like keys, like personal data inside the SAM domain. I want to thank all the participants who enabled us to create this smart EID system, with smart EID infrastructure, and I invite all others not yet contributing, just contact us. My contact The details are here. So contact us for contributions so we can build a secure and future wallet together. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mike. Before you leave, is there any question in the room? We do have one question online.
Sorry, what was the first one, Gilles? I posted on the chat. I posted 2 questions. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I asked 2 questions. Yeah, I saw for the smart EID, you say it supports mutual authentication, and knowing that this is in the secure element, and you will have a remote entity. So how do you ensure the mutual authentication? Is it PSK based? Is it asymmetric based? So in this case, do you verify the certificate online, or it's just an offline local certificate verification?
We are using this AEC version 2 mechanism. It's used for the German passport, for instance, also to protect the fingerprints. The terminal on this side has to authenticate to the ID card, and the ID card has to authenticate towards the participant to the terminal. The technical details I have to state, I have to skip, but I can take this question to my technical guys so they can answer it. It's an ecliptic curve, Diffie-Hellman stuff. I don't know. I just know this roughly.
Can I ask a second question or no?
Yes. First, I find this really interesting. But I have one regarding to the personalization. Because, oh yeah, there we go. We try again. There we go.
Yeah.
What about now?
Yeah.
Now you do hear me? Okay, I'll try now. I have a question regarding personalization. Because in it, as it's described here, it seems to me as if you have your identity card and multiple phones, you could effectively clone the EID and the smart card. Is that correct?
Yes,
or are there other things?
It's the intention. You may have, I missed this to mention, you may have multiple smart EIDs on your devices. So it's intentionally built up in this case. So you may have on your company phone, you may have on your private phone or on your smartwatch. It's up to you.
Okay, thank you.
That's why the validity time of a smart EID is only 2 years. So that's why.
Hello, I wanted to ask a question about selective disclosure. Did I understand it well that you're able to minimize the data directly in the secure element? And if you have a credential saying Mike is born at this date, then you can directly derive inside the secure element a proof that you're over 18? Is it what you meant? Because it wasn't really clear when you explained.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. We prepare these elements for you, so it's pre-compiled, so to speak, pre-compiled attributes.
So the issuer is providing the element already.
Exactly. So
okay.
It's if you want to have a special credential, then it's difficult.
So then, sorry. Then I have a follow-up question. You were explaining that you want to rely on the CSP in the future, and I think it's a great idea for certification, things like that.
Exactly.
The problem is, in the current specification of the CSP, as I understand it, there aren't the necessary provisions to be able to do exactly that. What we're talking about, to minimize data inside the secure element, you need something like elliptic curve Schnorr or something like that, and it's not in the current specification. I think there have been discussions about it in some task group of ENISA, some extensions have been proposed. Do you know when they would be available? Because otherwise, a solution might be difficult to accept from a privacy point of view.
This is an excellent point. I hope that this question will not come up. No, we are in close contact with Global Platform. We have started heavy activities in this CSP field, and I can't promise a timeline yet, but we have plenty of activities started to update this specification, because we all acknowledge that the specification 1 was with some created with some time constraints, so it's not complete. Yeah, but we have a meeting tomorrow with Global Platform about this, and I can't promise anything, but you have to stay tuned. Okay.
Hello, Doctor. I'm Vincent from It's Me. I have a bit more of a functional question. So it seems that the hardware and the secure element is a very, very important part for your solution. What are the kind of constraints that it brings in terms of interoperability and in terms of kind of the amount of people that will be able to use the solution based on their device and stuff?
Now, this is a good question. Currently we are struggling. In the last slide, you have seen this OEM related secure elements. You have this MNO related secure elements, and you have a SAM based solution. And our hope is that especially for these third-party applications where no OEM it's not related to OEM, it's not related to the mobile network, then SAM could help here to tackle or to address this challenge and to open it for much broader base and not to rely on dedicated industrial points. It's of special importance for governmental applications where you have to have some institutional obligation to provide, for instance, to provide EID functionality.
Great. We have one question online, so maybe Mike, a short answer to that, and then Mike will be in the panel after lunch, so you can. There's many more questions to come. The question is, how will the German EID solution be used in the EUDI ecosystem?
This is a tricky question. We have a few technical working groups for addressing this. We have seen, for instance, that in this EUDI wallet, we have attributes with some signatures around. That's not the case for our. On the other hand, we have in the data groups in the EID, we have such things. So what we do now is to mitigate, so to speak, or to migrate, to connect these two words together, as the smart EID system is the more restrict one. So it's not so problematic. We hope to convert it into this EUDI wallet facility.
Great. Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome.